let's very quickly talk about one of the most interesting things that goes on in the market, and I'm talking about politicians and alleged insider trading. Very quick walk down memory lane. This is the end of July, also the start of August. Pelosi unloads millions in Nvidia stock at a loss before Senate passes massive tech subsidies. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi revealed in a regulatory filing on Tuesday that her husband Paul Pelosi sold millions worth of stock in chipmaker Nvidia at a loss. Your hearing isn't broke. I just said the Pelosis took a loss in a trade, but it's a little bit more interesting than that. So anyway, they took a loss a day before the Senate passed a multi-billion-dollar bill aimed to impart and boosting U.S. chip manufacturing that sent Nvidia shares surging, a decision the Pelosi's office said was to avoid further misinformation about the couple's investments. All right. Well, first of all, that just kind of shows they sold. Right here, this proves that they talk about it. Like, before I get into the actual nefarious aspects of what the fuck's going on right now, right here, this shows you that she actively tells her husband about what's going on, because she's showing up. She gets home from work, takes her bag off. Hey, how are you, honey? Great day at work. Okay, we need to talk. You're in Nvidia. We're about to pass this, and I don't want to look crazy, so you should sell. So right here, when she's asked about, do you talk to your husband about things going on in your job and how it might impact the market? She's like, no, never. Obviously, you do. A decision the Pelosi's office says was to avoid further misinformation. So they did it because they don't want more misinformation, as in they clearly talk about trades and her job. Right there, she's admitting it. But anyway, that's besides the point. Paul Pelosi sold 25,000 shares of Nvidia at 165 on Tuesday, worth $4.1 million. They lost 341,000. So if you do some math, he basically had 25,000 shares at an average price of roughly 178. So yeah, a rarity. The Pelosi's took a loss, but did they? So a little bit after that, August 3rd, Pelosi's Taiwan trip puts the world's biggest chipmaker back in the spotlight of US-China rivalry. And this is all in TSMC. So at first we got this. They took a loss and everyone's like, oh, wow, maybe they are like stepping away from insider trading. I should probably say alleged insider trading so I don't get sued to Kingdom Come. But then this all started happening. She showed up in Taiwan and is talking with a chipmaker. And then people are like, wait a minute. Maybe you didn't make money, but are you just avoiding a bigger loss? Well, fast forward to today. Yeah, we have that information. US restricts sales of sophisticated chips to China and Russia. This is now breaking news as we are basically ending August, kicking off September. Limits were placed on high-end GPUs that power supercomputers and artificial intelligence, said Nvidia and AMD, two Silicon Valley chip makers. The Biden administration has imposed new restrictions on sales of some sophisticated computer chips to China and Russia, the US government's latest attempt to use semiconductors as a tool to hobble rivals' advances in fields such as high-performance computing and artificial intelligence. And who is this going to impact? All semiconductors, namely two of the biggest ones, Nvidia and AMD. Nvidia came out yesterday and said that this will most likely cost them $400 million. Now, when you say that, what do you think happens to the company? When you say that, this is not so good, we're probably going to go down, well, you end up dropping to the point that it's now trading at $143. You might be thinking, well, you just told us at the end of July, the start of August, this is where the Pelosi's got out, right here, and I believe it was 160s. He had an average of like 178. So he got in here, and then the Senate passed their thing, and it popped up. And then all of a sudden, we had a meeting in Taiwan with TSMC, and then it dropped again. So with the Pelosi's having the average cost around here, all right, they lost some money, about $340,000. They could have made some money with the average of 178. Oh, great, we 192. But then Taiwan, and we drop, and they would have been down again, and then it kind of pops. The market did have a nice pop overall, but we've been selling, and now we've gapped down even more to the tune of dropping another 5%. So you might be thinking, well, how much would they have lost? How much would the Pelosi's have lost if they held to this point? I did the math. Just under $1 million, a cool $850,000 they would have lost. So did the Pelosi's use their position to make money on this trade? No. Did the Pelosi's use their position and influence to avoid another $500,000 extra loss on top of what they already lost? Very, very possibly. I don't know their state of mind. I can't speak to it. I don't know what they say to each other. It sounds like one of them's tied up in a DUI case anyway. But overall, whether it is pure insider trading or not, and obviously I would love to get your thoughts and comments below on this, it looks bad. Even if it's not, this looks so horrendously bad to go from this to admitting that you're getting out because you don't want misinformation to then going to Taiwan and talking to actually a massive semiconductor producer. And then this is the upside down. How, as just people of this country involved in our global economy and the stock market, how do we allow this shit? This is so bad. These optics are comically horrible. And yet, they're going to talk with each other, be like, hey, we do have meetings about stopping stock trading and like, we'll see how it goes. Do you see how like we clearly are living in the upside down when the people who are abusing the system are the ones who get to vote on if they're allowed to continue to abuse the system or not? I feel like I'm going mad reading this stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's all it is. Let me know your thoughts in a comment.